My friends, we are living in an age of exposure, an era in which secrets that were once hidden in vaults are now shouted across the digital streets. The curtain has been pulled back, and we have discovered that the ones who seemed powerful, the ones who seemed to hold the keys to wealth and influence, have been guarding something deeper than gold: power, silence, energy, focus. These are not just words, they are forces that shape destinies. When a person begins to talk about their plans, their visions, and their dreams before they are formed into reality, something subtle yet devastating happens. The power begins to leak through the lips. Every spoken word releases energy. Every confession of a dream invites vibration into the air, and that vibration does not always return as strength. Sometimes it returns as doubt, distraction, and delusion. The truth is simple: you cannot build and broadcast at the same time. The builder's strength lies in concentration, and concentration demands silence. Success is born in secrecy. The seed that becomes a tree does not grow on the surface. It grows hidden beneath the earth, drawing power from the unseen. In the same way, every great goal, every powerful vision, must begin in the darkness of your own thought. When you talk too soon, you expose that seed to the elements of other people's opinions. Their doubt becomes a storm, their skepticism a shadow. And without knowing it, you have allowed the world to participate in the destruction of your own idea. The powerful man, the wise woman, learns early that not every truth must be spoken, not every plan must be revealed, not every step must be shared. Energy moves where attention goes. When you talk about what you intend to do, your attention shifts from creation to narration. You begin to imagine how others see you instead of how your dream feels to you. The mind starts seeking validation instead of progress. You become the performer, not the producer. The applause becomes more tempting than the achievement itself. Talking gives a premature sense of accomplishment, a false satisfaction that steals the urgency to act. The moment you declare your plans publicly, you begin to experience a psychological reward that mimics success, and that illusion dulls your drive. Power belongs to the silent. Those who keep their ambitions private channel all their energy inward, feeding their idea until it becomes unstoppable. Their silence becomes a furnace where vision turns to fire. Each hour of hidden labor adds weight to their purpose. Each day of quiet work builds invisible momentum. When they finally step forward, their actions thunder louder than 1,000 promises. The world wonders how they rose so suddenly, but the truth is, they were not idle, they were invisible. Words are instruments of vibration. When you speak, you cast your thought into the ether, where it begins to interact with the thoughts of others. If those surrounding you are weak-minded, envious, fearful, or cynical, their energy touches yours. They might not even speak against you, but their doubt has power. Thoughts are contagious. A single careless conversation can plant hesitation where there was once conviction. Protecting your idea from such vibrations is not secrecy born of fear, it is spiritual self-defense. Silence is not emptiness, it is protection. It guards you from distraction, it guards your focus, and it guards the purity of your purpose. The more you speak of your plans, the more opportunities you create for interference. Every opinion you invite becomes another voice in your head. Every reaction you observe becomes another influence over your direction. The quiet man listens only to his inner voice. He does not need to explain, justify, or persuade. He is free to act. Power leaks through lips because words are the doorways of energy. When you speak carelessly about your goals, you are sending your power into the world without direction. It scatters. But when you remain silent, your energy gathers like a storm cloud, charged and waiting. Silence builds pressure, speech releases it. The secret of mastery is knowing when to release and when to contain. Talk too soon and the pressure drops. Wait until your actions are ready, and your results will speak with the voice of thunder. Discipline separates the door from the dreamer. The dreamer speaks of what might be, the door works until it is. The dreamer shares ideas to feel inspired, the door guards ideas to stay committed. The dreamer seeks witnesses, the door seeks results. Every time you feel the urge to announce your next move, stop and remember, the true kings and queens of progress move in silence. They are never seen preparing, they are seen arriving. Power leaks through lips. Remember it every time you feel the temptation to talk. Your ideas are sacred, your purpose is gold. Do not throw them into the marketplace of opinions. Keep them close, keep them burning, keep them private. When the work is finished, when the masterpiece is complete, the world will see and no explanation will be necessary. The quiet preparation will have created a result so undeniable that words will no longer be needed. Silence. Depth. Growth. Strength. These are the elements of mastery that most people overlook because the world has trained them to perform instead of to produce. The truth that separates the powerful from the ordinary is that silence is fertile soil. Everything of real value, everything that lasts, everything that changes lives, begins in silence. The earth teaches this law with quiet certainty. Before a seed can rise, it must first be buried. In the darkness, in the stillness, away from the noise and the opinions of the world, the seed finds its strength. The same law governs your dreams, your plans, your greatness. What you nurture in silence grows with roots that no storm can tear out. Creation requires quiet. The noise of the world confuses focus. When you are surrounded by chatter, by constant advice, by the endless comparisons of others, your vision becomes blurred. You begin to absorb fragments of other people's beliefs, and their limitations begin to blend with your own ideas. But in silence, you hear only your inner voice, the one that carries truth, not fear. The greatest thinkers and builders of history retreated into silence because they understood that stillness is not inactivity, it is incubation. The mind that sits in silence does not sleep, it expands. It gathers energy, clarity, and direction. It begins to align thought with purpose. Silence is the meeting place between thought and power. When you withdraw from noise, you allow your imagination to speak in its purest form. The unseen intelligence that governs life whispers only in quiet places. The man who cannot be alone with his thoughts can never lead others, for leadership begins with inner mastery. In silence, the mind becomes disciplined. It learns to observe its fears instead of obeying them. It learns to transform anxiety into planning, emotion into drive, and confusion into precision. Silence turns mental chaos into creative order. Growth loves darkness. Every living thing develops in silence before it reveals itself. The child grows in the womb. The flower forms its bud before it blooms. The mountain grows silently beneath the shifting earth before it pierces the sky. The same pattern governs success. Your work must grow unseen before it becomes undeniable. The person who demands recognition too soon interrupts their own development. They expose their process before it is ready, and the world, with its impatience and criticism, crushes what was still forming. Silence shields you from this interference. It gives your dream time to strengthen, time to shape itself into something solid. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of power. It is where thoughts crystallize into purpose and purpose becomes action. It is where doubt dissolves because the only voice you hear is your own conviction. Every hour spent in quiet creation adds strength to your vision. The more you work in silence, the more potent your results become. The world may think you are idle, but they cannot see the roots stretching deep beneath the surface. When the fruits of your labor finally appear, they come with such force that no one can deny their authenticity. The wise use silence as strategy. They understand that the less they reveal, the less resistance they invite. They let their work ripen in the dark, while others exhaust themselves seeking validation. They do not explain, they execute. They do not announce, they accomplish. And when their results arrive, they stand as monuments that require no defense. People may wonder how it happened, but the answer will always be the same. It was built in silence, nourished in secrecy, strengthened in solitude. Silence cultivates resilience. The person who works alone, away from applause and encouragement, learns to rely on inner fuel. They no longer need external validation to continue. They become self-sustaining, like a fire that burns without air. That is why those who train themselves in silence rarely break under pressure. Their strength was built in private. It does not depend on public approval. They have learned to find satisfaction not in praise, but in progress. Noise weakens, silence fortifies. Every unnecessary word spoken about your goals drains a measure of energy. Every opinion absorbed adds weight to your focus. In silence, you reclaim that energy. You turn it inward where it multiplies. The mind undistracted becomes a laser, precise, powerful, unstoppable. The man who can sit quietly with his dream is the man who will one day stand loudly with his results. Silence is the unseen workshop of destiny. Every masterpiece is first imagined in quiet. Every revolution begins in the stillness of thought before it shakes the world with action. The soil of silence produces the fruit of greatness because it allows potential to grow without interruption. In that sacred space, ideas take shape, courage matures, and purpose becomes unbreakable. Those who understand this truth stop seeking noise, stop explaining themselves, and stop announcing what they are building. They trust the law of nature. What is cultivated in silence will one day speak for itself. And when it does, the world will have no choice but to listen. Power, sacredcy, mastery, discipline. These are the cornerstones of greatness that the masses ignore because they are addicted to attention. The truth is eternal. Conceal your construction. Every strong foundation is laid beneath the ground, hidden from sight, where it cannot be shaken by wind or judgment. The man who reveals his work before it is complete invites interference, ridicule, and envy. The wise one, however, hides his progress, working in silence while the world sleeps. He knows that power grows when it is protected, not when it is paraded. Creation demands privacy. You cannot build empires under the gaze of spectators. Every eye that watches adds pressure, every opinion that reaches you distracts, and every expectation placed upon you bends your focus. To construct anything meaningful, a vision, a business, a new life, you must retreat from the noise. You must become invisible, deliberate, and unbothered. Concealment is not deceit, it is strategy. The builder covers his work not because he is ashamed, but because he is wise enough to understand that a structure cannot withstand the wind while it is still scaffolding. Power thrives in shadows. The mightiest trees grow tallest because their roots are unseen, buried deep where no one can disturb them. So too must your plans be rooted in darkness before they emerge into the light. When you tell the world what you are building, you open the gate for doubt to enter. Some will tell you it cannot be done, some will try to copy you, and others will secretly hope for your failure. Concealment is protection from all three. The unseen project cannot be sabotaged. The invisible plan cannot be stolen. The hidden dream cannot be poisoned by the opinions of the unqualified. Mastery is born from secrecy. Those who achieve greatness understand that the less they reveal, the stronger they become. They guard their ideas as kings guard treasure. They do not explain what they are doing, they simply do it. Their silence confuses critics and intimidates competitors. When they finally reveal their results, the world stands in shock because there was no warning, no rumor, no noise, only undeniable achievement. The surprise of success is its own weapon. It disarms opposition and commands respect. Focus cannot survive exposure. Every time you speak of what you are creating, your attention divides. You move from action to explanation, from doing to defending. Instead of channeling energy into the task, you waste it describing the task to others. The true builder does not narrate his construction. He continues laying brick after brick until the wall is finished. Concealment keeps your energy pure. It keeps your purpose unpolluted by the curiosity of others. The moment you start justifying your dream, you have already allowed others to influence it. Concealment prevents corruption of purpose. Discipline lives in solitude. It takes strength to keep your own secrets. It takes patience to work without applause. It takes faith to move without validation. But this is the mark of a creator, not a performer. Performers need an audience, creators need quiet. Every masterpiece is born in solitude. The painter alone in his studio, the thinker lost in his study, the builder laboring before dawn. Concealment allows space for imperfection, trial, and refinement. In private, you are free to fail and adjust without the eyes of judgment watching your every move. That is where excellence is forged. Concealed construction builds anticipation. While others expose every move, you work in silence. They talk of what they will do. You do it. They seek attention. You seek progress. Then one day, when the results are ready, you reveal them in full power, and the world is left speechless. What they thought was still a dream is already reality. This is not arrogance, it is precision. It is the art of timing, knowing that revelation without readiness is ruin. The wise reveal only when the work can speak for itself. Power respects privacy. The universe itself operates by this law. The most powerful forces are invisible. Gravity, time, thought, energy. None of them boast, yet all of them govern. So must you. Concealment aligns you with universal order. It turns your focus inward and multiplies your strength. The less you reveal, the more mysterious and magnetic your presence becomes. People sense that something powerful is happening behind the curtain, and that quiet uncertainty becomes influence. Strategy is silence with direction. Concealment is not hiding out of fear, it is moving with intelligence. It is choosing to work unseen until exposure becomes inevitable, because the results are too large to hide. That is true victory, when your actions force recognition, not your words. The weak announce their plans, the strong announce their achievements. Conceal your construction, and you will never need to defend your dream. Build in the shadows, and your success will rise like the sun, unstoppable, undeniable, and too bright for the world to ignore. Execution, action, focus, discipline. These are the true languages of success, the unspoken codes that separate those who dream from those who dominate. The principle is timeless and unarguable. Execution over exposure. The modern world worships visibility. People confuse motion with progress, attention with achievement, applause with accomplishment. They crave the spotlight so intensely that they forget the spotlight burns hot and fast. The wise understand that exposure is a distraction, execution is power. The one who works in silence, who does not seek to be seen but to succeed, always rises beyond the crowd of talkers. Action creates reality, words create illusion. Every time you talk about what you will do, you experience a false satisfaction, a small emotional victory that tricks the brain into feeling accomplished. That illusion robs you of the hunger necessary to finish the task. The talker becomes addicted to the feeling of anticipation rather than the discipline of completion. The doer, however, refuses that drug. He knows that silence fuels drive. He saves his energy for movement, not for mouth. The satisfaction he seeks is not admiration, but achievement. The applause he craves is the quiet satisfaction of seeing the work complete. Execution is sacred because it transforms thought into form. Every idea, no matter how brilliant, dies without action. The graveyard of wasted potential is filled with talkers. People who spoke endlessly about what they were going to build, yet never built anything. Their words echoed for a moment and then vanished. The door leaves monuments behind. The talker leaves memories of what could have been. Execution is the bridge between imagination and impact. Every step taken in silence builds a foundation that no critic can shake. Every hour of work, invisible to the world, moves the dream closer to reality. Exposure weakens focus. When you seek to be seen, you begin to perform. You start adjusting your pace to please the audience, not to meet the mission. The attention you crave becomes a leash that others hold. They begin to influence your decisions, shape your priorities, and drain your purpose. The man who works for exposure becomes dependent on approval, but the man who works for execution becomes unstoppable because he needs nothing from anyone except the time and space to act. His validation is his progress. His reward is his growth. Discipline is the backbone of execution. Execution is not glamorous. It is repetition, precision, and patience. It is the long hours no one sees, the quiet persistence that demands no recognition. It is the choice to do what must be done even when excitement fades. Exposure seduces the ego. Execution strengthens the spirit. Those who rely on exposure must constantly feed their image, but those who live by execution are nourished by results. They do not chase moments of attention. They create legacies of substance. Greatness is built, not broadcast. The tallest mountain does not announce itself. It simply stands unmovable. The river does not declare its strength. It simply carves through stone. So too must you. Your work must speak for you. Let every task completed, every goal achieved, every standard maintained become your voice. Do not waste time convincing the world you are capable. Prove it through precision, persistence, and performance. The noise of the talkers will fade. The work of the executors will endure. Exposure is temporary. Execution is eternal. Attention fades as quickly as it appears. Today's praise becomes tomorrow's indifference. But the work you finish remains long after the applause ends. The empire you build in silence will outlive the noise that once surrounded you. Those who chase exposure must constantly reinvent their image to stay visible. Those who master execution simply continue creating, and the world keeps finding them. True success is gravity. It attracts attention naturally, without effort or announcement. Execution demands sacrifice. You must be willing to give up the comfort of being noticed for the discipline of being consistent. You must trade instant gratification for lasting greatness. Every time you choose to act instead of announce, you invest in your future instead of your ego. The process may feel lonely, but it is in that solitude that mastery is born. When others are busy telling the world what they plan to do, you will already be doing it. When they are explaining, you will be expanding. The world rewards results, not rhetoric. Talkers attract curiosity, doors attract respect. The marketplace, the universe, and destiny itself all respond to execution. They move in favor of those who move first, act decisively, and complete relentlessly. The law of success is simple. Ideas have no value without execution, and exposure cannot replace endurance. Every great empire, invention, or legacy was once an unseen effort. 1,000 quiet steps that no one celebrated until the results were undeniable. Execution over exposure is not merely advice. It is the formula of power. It means acting when others are watching, and especially when they are not. It means trusting that your work will one day speak for you louder than any introduction ever could. The man who executes does not need to tell his story. His results tell it for him. The woman who executes does not chase recognition. Recognition chases her. The difference between the forgotten and the unforgettable is simple. The forgotten talk, the unforgettable worked. Protection, energy, awareness, strength. These are the forces that every builder of dreams must command. The moment you decide to pursue something great, you must also decide to protect your mind from the world around you. Guard your energy from the doubters, because the energy you carry is the foundation of everything you will create. Doubt is poison disguised as concern, and fear is often delivered through the mouths of those who say they love you. The one who masters their energy masters their destiny, and that mastery begins with learning who deserves access to your mind. Energy is your currency. Every thought, every conversation, every reaction either invests in your dream or drains it. The people around you are not neutral. They either charge you with belief or strip you of it. The doubter does not always attack you directly. Sometimes they hide behind smiles and logic, questioning you with subtle remarks that plant hesitation in your heart. Are you sure that's realistic? Maybe you should wait. What if it doesn't work? Those words, repeated often enough, become chains that bind your ambition. Guarding your energy means refusing to let those chains form. It means cutting off access to anyone who feeds your fears more than your faith. Belief is fragile in its early stages. When you first give birth to a new vision, it is like a flame in the wind, bright but easily extinguished. A careless word from a skeptic can snuff it out before it grows. That is why silence and separation are powerful. You must nurture your flame away from the breath of doubters. Protect it until it becomes a fire strong enough to burn on its own. Once your conviction is unshakable, their words will no longer affect you, but until then, you must defend your focus like a soldier guards a fortress. The doubter does not see your future, they only see their limitations. They speak from fear, not from wisdom. Their disbelief in your dream is a reflection of their disbelief in themselves. They tell you what cannot be done because they never dared to do it. They try to pull you back to the comfort of conformity because your courage exposes their cowardice. When you begin to rise, they feel the ground shift beneath them, and rather than climb with you, they will try to anchor you. Guarding your energy means understanding this truth without resentment. Do not argue with doubters. Do not try to convert them. Simply move without them. Energy flows where attention goes. When you focus on defending your dream, you strengthen it. When you spend time explaining yourself to those who do not believe, you weaken it. Every moment spent trying to convince someone is a moment stolen from your progress. The doubter thrives on your distraction. The believer thrives on your focus. Protecting your energy means keeping your attention on your mission, not on the opinions of others. You owe no one an explanation for your vision. Your results will speak for you when the time comes. Strength grows in isolation. The path of the visionary is lonely, not because others cannot walk with you, but because few are willing to carry the weight of belief without evidence. Doubters demand proof, believers create it. You must be willing to travel alone until your results attract those who understand your frequency. Solitude is not a punishment, it is purification. It clears your mind of noise and aligns your spirit with purpose. The energy you protect in silence becomes the power you release through action. Negativity is contagious. Spend enough time with doubters and their fear becomes yours. You start to question yourself, to shrink your plans, to rationalize your limitations. The infection is slow but deadly. The cure is distance. You do not need to hate them or prove them wrong. You simply need to remove their influence from your environment. Replace their presence with faith, with discipline, with action. Let your surroundings reflect your destination, not your doubts. Energy is life. Every great leader, inventor, or creator you have ever admired understood the law of vibration. What you feel, you attract. Doubters operate in low vibration, fear, envy, insecurity. If you stay among them, your energy lowers to match theirs. Protecting your energy means elevating your vibration through confidence, gratitude, and relentless movement. The higher you rise in spirit, the less their words can touch you. Faith is armor. The doubter's words cannot pierce a mind that is fortified with belief. When you truly know what you are capable of, when your inner vision burns brighter than any external opinion, no one can drain your energy. The challenge is to reach that state, and to reach it, you must guard yourself until your faith matures. Protecting your energy is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that not every voice deserves to enter your inner world. Guard your energy from the doubters, because your energy determines your altitude. Protect your focus as you would protect your heartbeat. Keep your vision sacred. Move with quiet strength. Let no one's disbelief become your limitation. The dream that is nourished with pure energy will outlive every word of doubt ever spoken against it. Results, proof, legacy, power. These are the elements that define true greatness, the elements that no critic can distort and no opinion can erase. Let results be your voice, for the voice of results speaks in a language that everyone understands and no one can argue with. Words can be doubted, promises can be ignored, but achievement is undeniable. The world listens not to those who speak loudest, but to those who deliver the most. The door commands respect long after the talker has been forgotten. Results silence skepticism. You can spend years defending your ideas, explaining your vision, and convincing others of your potential, but one moment of tangible success will do more than 1,000 speeches. People do not remember what you said you would do, they remember what you actually did. The wise understand that energy wasted on persuasion is better spent on production. Let others argue while you advance. Let them question while you create. When your results appear, their words will collapse beneath the weight of your evidence. Achievement speaks with authority. When you produce, you no longer need to justify your journey. Your work becomes your explanation. Your outcomes become your introduction. True confidence does not come from speaking boldly about the future. It comes from standing upon the foundation of completed work. Every result you create adds another stone to that foundation, another layer to your reputation. Over time, your results will build a fortress of credibility that no rumor or resistance can penetrate. The person who delivers consistently becomes untouchable because performance cannot be faked. Results are the purest truth. In a world full of words, excuses, and illusions, results are the only reality that cannot be twisted. They do not lie, they do not exaggerate, and they do not need interpretation. Results are self-evident. When you have them, they speak for you even in your silence. They travel faster than gossip and carry more weight than promises. The great ones understand this law and live by it. Speak less, produce more, and let the results tell the story that words never could. The voice of results carries permanence. Attention fades, but accomplishment endures. The man who talks loudly may be noticed today, but the one who builds quietly will be remembered tomorrow. History does not record the noise of ambition, it records the evidence of action. Monuments stand not for those who dreamed, but for those who did. Every result you create becomes a mark on the world, proof that you existed with purpose. Talk is temporary, creation is eternal. Results are the currency of respect. People may doubt your potential, dismiss your ideas, or underestimate your ability, but they cannot ignore what you have done. When you show results, the conversation changes. Those who once questioned you begin to listen. Those who once mocked you begin to mimic you. Those who once dismissed you begin to seek your counsel. That is the power of results. They convert disbelief into admiration without a single word. You do not need to fight for validation when your work demands it for you. Results are the language of leaders. A leader does not tell others what can be done, he demonstrates it. He sets the standard through action, not opinion. People follow what they can see, not what they are told. The leader's voice is his execution, his consistency, his ability to deliver outcomes that inspire confidence. When you make results your message, you rise above competition because very few are willing to pay the price of proof. Words are cheap, evidence is earned. Results transform perception. Before results, the world sees you as another dreamer. After results, the same world calls you a visionary. Nothing about you changes except what you have accomplished, yet everything about how you are treated transforms. The difference between ridicule and respect is proof. The same people who once doubted will rewrite their memories to appear as supporters, and you will not need to remind them otherwise. The power of results is that they rewrite your story in the eyes of others. Results are your reputation. Your name carries weight not because of what you claim, but because of what you complete. Each victory adds to your credibility. Each milestone strengthens your identity. When your results speak, you become immune to the noise of judgment. You no longer chase approval because you have created evidence that stands on its own. You rise beyond opinion into fact, beyond promise into performance. Let results be your voice because silence backed by proof is louder than any proclamation. Speak through your actions. Prove through your progress. Deliver through your discipline. Every day you choose execution over explanation, you amplify your future voice. The world does not reward the loudest, it rewards the most consistent. When your results speak, even your enemies will listen, for truth needs no defense and proof needs no promotion. The ultimate power is not to be heard, it is to be undeniable.